pain in my leg. Traffic had stopped. I saw another car smashed up on the side of the road, and then I saw a motorcycle lying on its side. A woman wearing a helmet was a few feet away, her neck bent at a strange angle. Somehow I knew she was dead. Then I saw a man lying on the ground, and I went to him. He was lying on his stomach. I could see blood flowing onto the asphalt from between his legs. He looked up and swore violently at me. I said I was sorry. I must have said it 1,000 times in those few moments. I took off my red necktie and attempted to stop his bleeding as the emergency personnel arrived. When I remember these minutes, the minutes where my life profoundly changed, they are surreal snapshots of memory. I had to tell the story so many times in those first weeks, to everyone from insurance agents to lawyers to family and friends, that it eventually solidified into what I say today. But there will always be memories below the story, like splinters under the skin. A pair of sunglasses with blood spatter, the smell of the old plastic sun visor, the eerie silence of that busy highway as I walk toward the motorcycle. These memories, too, are part of the story of that day. They remind me that shards of memory live both above the skin and below it. When I got to the hospital, nurses used medical tape to remove the particles of windshield glass from my hand and put my knee in a stabilizer. They said it would hurt for a while. It did hurt. I wanted it to hurt. I wanted to feel something other than the feeling that I should be dead instead of that woman. I went back to the dormitory that night. My roommate was shaken but not badly injured. I slept. In the next few days and weeks and months, I didn't go to any counseling. None was offered. In those days and in those circles, we didn't know much about mental health or avail ourselves of therapy. In fact, I didn't talk to anyone about what had happened. I felt guilty for surviving when a young woman had been killed by me. I knew I would carry that weight with me forever. I remember staring at a white wall and feeling like I was rushing toward it. If I took a nap, I would jerk awake from the sensation of hurtling uncontrollably toward the motorcycle. Most of these symptoms were gone in a couple months, but the low-level, unabated dread and anxiety persisted. I hobbled around on crutches for a couple of weeks. A month later, I was driving again. The first time I got behind the wheel, I experienced symptoms of post-traumatic stress, reliving the helpless, locked-in feeling of the crash as I drove through a construction zone. Several months later, I was sued for $2.5 million. I gave a deposition about what happened. Perhaps because I was a poor college student, or because my father was a poor pastor with 6 kids, or for other reasons I do not know, the suit was dropped. It may have been because I had not been drinking or speeding at the time of the accident. But I knew what I did was wrong, maybe even evil on some level. I had killed a woman. I knew I could do nothing to undo it. There was nowhere I could go to get away from the feeling that I was no longer good. One thing, though, gave me a tiny glimpse of hope, or something akin to it. The morning after the accident, the dean of students from the college had come to see me. I was still lying in bed in my dorm room. He pulled a chair up, opened his King James Bible, and read a passage from the Old Testament, Numbers chapter 35, about cities of refuge, ancient safe havens for people who had accidentally killed others. The perpetrator could flee the avenging family of the deceased and escape to a city of refuge, where they could live until the Jewish high priest died. After the death of the priest, the accidental killer could safely return home, no longer at risk of revenge killing. After reading the verses, the dean said, "God made provision for what happened to you." I don't remember my response. I only remember being confused about why he read